So it's probably possible it's in retaliation to Young Dolph. And if that's the case, and that's his brother, it's going to continue.
And Yo Gotti, Big Juke's brother, sure continued the retaliation cycle and ended the man who killed his brother. However, Gotti didn't expect the feds to come after him. And word is that the feds have enough evidence to keep him locked up forever. The man behind the curtain. There is a specific kind of power that operates best in the shadows. Not the power of the stage, not the power of platinum records, Billboard charts, or sold-out arenas, but the quieter, heavier kind. The kind that moves things without ever appearing to move. The kind that makes decisions that other people have to live with, or die from. Anthony Mims was that kind of power. You've heard his name. You know him as Big Juke, older brother to Mario Mims, the man the world knows as Yo Gotti, one of the most commercially successful rappers Memphis has ever produced. Big Juke was a central figure at collective music group CMG, the label Yo Gotti built into a genuine industry force, home to artists like Moneybagg Yo, Glorilla, and ESTG. His exact title at the label was never officially defined. He wasn't the one on stage. He wasn't the one dropping albums or doing press runs. He was the one in the room when the real conversations happened. The talent scout, the project manager, the man whose Instagram page was wall-to-wall CMG promotion. Always present, always involved, always close to the center of everything. He was 47 years old when they killed him. And the story of how he died cannot be told without first understanding the story of how he lived. Specifically, how he allegedly used the power and resources of one of Memphis's most powerful music operations to wage a private war against a man who had simply refused to join their team. That man was Young Dolph. The origin of the CMG PR feud stretches back to 2014, when Young Dolph, Adolph Thornton Jr., publicly disclosed that he had turned down an offer to sign with CMG. Dolph had built Paper Route Empire with his own money, reportedly investing $3 million of his personal funds. He was not interested in surrendering ownership of what he'd built to anybody, no matter how attractive the offer. He had gone into a studio with Gotti, heard the pitch firsthand, and walked away. But the way he walked away, and what Gotti said in that room before he did, planted the seed of a grudge that would take years to fully bloom and cost multiple people their lives before it was finished. Dolph described Gotti clearing the entire room to speak with him one-on-one, then proceeding to talk down about his own signed artists, Zilla and Starlito, throwing them under the bus as a sales tactic, essentially saying, "Those guys needed babysitting, but you're different. You're built for this." To Dolph, that moment of betrayal toward Gotti's own artists was a red flag that told him everything he needed to know about the man he was dealing with. You really gonna sit there and downplay your own artist, and throw your artist under the bus to try to persuade me to come over there? He said no. He kept Paper Route Empire, and Gotti, according to Dolph, kept texting him for 2 years trying to change his mind. Yo, Gotti was texting my phone for 2 years straight. "What you doing, bro? What you working on, bro? Let's do this." Memphis, though, is a small city. A city where independence reads as defiance, where saying no to the wrong person in the wrong room can carry consequences that have nothing to do with music. By 2016, the quiet rejection had publicly exploded. Dolph released his debut album King of Memphis on the same day as Gotti's The Art of Hustle. The title itself was a direct territorial challenge to Gotti's self-proclaimed reign over the city. That same month, CMG artist Black Youngsta showed up in Dolph's South Memphis neighborhood with an armed crew looking for him. The diss tracks came, the social media wars came, and then in February 2017, Dolph released Play What Yo Be ********, a vicious, personal, full-scale assault that went directly after Gotti, mocked him, put a lookalike in the music video, and humiliated him in front of the entire rap world. Crucially, and fatally, it also went after Big Juke by name. Traplore Ross, one of the most thorough documentarians of this entire saga, described the track as devastating, not just musically, but personally. A public humiliation aimed at the heart of CMG's inner circle.
You gonna really sit and downplay your artist and throw your artist up on the bus to try to persuade me in to come over there?
For a man like Big Juke, a man who operated in the shadows, who wielded real-world power, who was by all accounts, a genuine figure in the Memphis street hierarchy, Being publicly dragged in a rap video was not something that got laughed off. It was something that demanded a response. In February 2017, just 25 days after the diss track dropped, Young Dolph's bulletproof SUV was struck with more than 100 rounds in Charlotte, North Carolina during CA weekend. Black Youngsta and 2 associates were charged with discharging a weapon into occupied property, although the charges against Youngsta were eventually dropped. Dolph walked away unharmed because his truck was bulletproof. He went on to perform his show that same night and later turned the entire experience into an album called Bulletproof. 7 months later, in September 2017, Dolph was shot outside the Loews Hollywood Hotel in Los Angeles. Both Gotti's entourage and Dolph were staying at the same hotel at the time. LAPD later cleared Gotti as a person of interest. A Gotti associate named Corey McClendon was arrested for attempted murder, then released without charges. Big Juke was in the background of all of it, not charged, not named directly in any of these incidents. Operating exactly the way powerful men who live in the shadows are supposed to operate. Present in the consequences, invisible in the causation. And the whole time, according to what would later come out in court, he was allegedly building towards something far more permanent than a drive-by shooting or a failed attempt in Los Angeles. Prosecutors claimed he was building toward a contract killing. According to court documents, the list of people he allegedly placed prices on did not stop with Young Dolph. Authorities claimed Big Juke had put bounties on nearly the entire Paper Route Empire roster. $100,000 on Dolph, $50,000 on Key Glock, $50,000 on PR Wu, $20,000 on Snoopy Blue, $5,000 on Moochie Grape. A complete hit list, an entire independent label priced out for elimination. When that list surfaced, the internet reacted with stunned fury. Fans of Paper Route Empire flooded social media with one message: protect Key Glock at all costs. Key Glock, Young Dolph's cousin, his protege, the second most important artist on PRE, allegedly had a $50,000 price on his head and at the time, had no idea how close the danger had been. Big Juke's final Instagram post came on January 12, 2024. The caption read, "They don't want to face you. They want to snake you. Stay alert. Stay alive. Watch your back at all times." He posted that the day before someone shot him in a parking lot outside a funeral, in front of his own mother. The man who allegedly built a machine of violence against an entire label never saw a courtroom. He died before any of it could catch up with him legally. But the streets moved faster than the courts. They always do. The $100,000 testimony. On November 17, 2021, at Makeda's Homemade Butter Cookies, Young Dolph had stopped by while in South Memphis, where he had been giving away Thanksgiving turkeys to families in the neighborhood, the kind of community support that defined who he was as a person. He had returned to the city that made him, moving through it in the way people do when they never forget where they came from: visible, accessible, present. He stopped at Makeda's. A stolen white Mercedes-Benz pulled up. 2 men stepped out. 22 gunshot wounds. Head, neck, torso, extremities. The attack was captured on surveillance cameras. Young Dolph was killed almost instantly, in the place he loved most, surrounded by the same community he had spent his entire career trying to lift up. The people closest to him received the news the way catastrophic news always arrives. Without warning, without preparation, without mercy. Key Glock was at home when the call came through.
There was a very vicious diss song where Dolph was dissing Gotti's brother, Big Juke, who obviously has become a big part of this. He's obviously part. Dolph dropped that very, very vicious diss track, absolutely tore Big Juke and Yo Gotti apart. He had the body double in the video.
He later described hearing it in the tone of the voice before the words were even spoken. That specific sound when someone says your name and something is wrong. The kind of tone that tells you the world has already shifted beneath your feet, and you're only just now finding out.
Yeah.
And did somebody call you or?
Somebody called me in the house, how you can hear when somebody call your name, the tone of their voice, you know something wrong, you just don't know.
Weeks later, when someone asked how he was holding up, Key Glock answered with just one word: content. Not better, not worse. Just here. How you holding up? I'm content. I'm content. That grief became the emotional weight sitting underneath everything that followed. But the legal process was already moving, and it was moving toward a courtroom that would eventually force the man allegedly at the center of all of this, Big Juke, into the conversation in the most public and damning way possible. In January 2022, Justin Johnson, a rapper who recorded under the name Straight Drop, and Cornelius Smith were arrested as the two shooters. Hernandez Govan was charged as the alleged organizer of the murder, and Justin's half-brother, Jermarcus Johnson, was charged as an accessory. For people, one dead man. And for 2 years, the question of who ordered the hit remained unanswered in public. A name everyone in Memphis apparently knew, but one that had not yet been spoken in a courtroom. In September 2024, Justin Johnson's trial finally began, and the man who answered that question was Cornelius Smith. Smith had pleaded guilty to first-degree murder just before the trial started. In exchange for cooperating with prosecutors against Johnson, he took the witness stand and described everything. Every meeting, every conversation, every movement on the day of the killing. And at the center of his testimony was Big Juke. Smith testified that Big Juke had placed a $100,000 bounty on young Dolph's life. He said Hernandez Govan, the alleged middleman, brought both Smith and Johnson into the plan, relaying Big Juke's instructions along with the promise of payment. According to Smith, the money was supposed to be divided like this: $40,000 each for Smith and Johnson as the shooters, and $20,000 for Govan as the broker. Shelby County Deputy District Attorney Paul Hagerman alleged in his opening statement that Big Juke had offered Johnson something beyond money, a path into CMG itself. The proposition, as prosecutors framed it, was simple: kill Dolph, eliminate the rival label's biggest name, and earn a recording deal with CMG as the reward. Career advancement, purchased with another man's blood. Justin Johnson had always wanted to be a rapper. He had reportedly been invited to Atlanta by Big Juke and Govan for conversations about his music career. And somewhere in those conversations, according to prosecutors, a murder contract was born. Smith testified that he and Johnson tracked Dolph's movements during the Thanksgiving giveaway period, knowing he would be out in the community without heavy security. They spotted his vehicle, followed it to Makeda's Cookies, and moved in. Smith said he fired first, using a semi-automatic rifle, while Johnson used a handgun. He identified himself in the surveillance footage. He confirmed their escape in the stolen Mercedes. He described changing clothes at an apartment complex, attempting to destroy the vehicle afterward, and trying to disappear. Then, under cross-examination, Smith admitted something that stopped the entire courtroom. The murder happened on his daughter's birthday. He acknowledged it, said he did it for the money, said it was supposed to be a financially beautiful day for his family. After the shooting, Smith began trying to collect what he had been promised. He reached out to Johnson repeatedly. The conversations went through Jermarcus Johnson, Justin's half-brother, who had taken possession of Justin's phone after the murder to help construct alibis and control communications. Smith didn't know that at first. He believed he was talking to Justin directly,